Hello my friends, let me introduce you to Sony stereo cassette deck TC-K5. This is something I acquired recently and the story is a little bit interesting. The gentleman actually offered this deck in return for donation to animal charity. So I donated money to animal charity and I obtained this deck as a reward. So yeah, this is interesting story. I think it's actually a really good way of recycling old electronic, and today we can make a video out of it, and some animals will be have shelter and they will be fed in animal shelters. That's really great cause. I'm always happy to donate to animal shelters anyways and help animals, but this case we also gonna get some recycling instead of this electronic gonna end up in a landfill or something to this extent. So back to our subject. This is Sony stereo cassette deck TC-K5. I think this is a really nice looking deck, especially with those wooden panels over here. Yeah. This deck was manufactured by Sony in 1978 and they lasted only for 2 years, looks like, 1978 till 1980. It is typical two-head single compact cassette deck, standard stuff, stereo, 2-channel stereo, 1 record, 1 playback, 1 erase. It supports unfortunately only a normal ferrochrome and a chrome dioxide tapes, doesn't support metal. It has only B noise reduction. A claimed frequency response is 20 to 18 kilohertz, 20 hertz to 18 kilohertz for ferrochrome tape. So I don't know, maybe for a chrome dioxide it'll be better, who knows. A signal to noise ratio 64 decibel, wow and flutter 0.05%. Harmonic distortion 1.3%, and other things like input, output. The information is not really, I don't really care that much. It weighs 6.9, almost 7 kilograms, and year of manufacturing of this dude 1979. So I think this is pretty good example of really old deck which I would like to restore to its former, and I would like to actually keep it and restore it. It's not much really to restore because first of all I don't really know if it's even operational. I still did not turn it on. So it's a little bit dirty, as you see. There's a lot of dust over here on those knobs, on those switches. A lot of dust you can see like in those panels, but actually they are really nice looking. Oh yeah, look how much dirt is here. Yeah, and whatever it is, it's really noisy. But I think we can address all these issues, especially when the unit cosmetically is relatively decent. So this is the nice wooden panels. They are on both sides like that. Unfortunately, I thought this is like a solid 100% wood, but no, this is some kind of particle board with glued over the faux wood, or actually wood veneer. I think this is actually wood veneer, but it's glued over some particle board. Another thing, this deck is missing some feet, so only this one and that one is there. This side and that side. This is missing, so yeah, it's wobbly, so you have to come up with something. Maybe I will manufacture nice stands for it, and I can 3D print with no problem. So yeah, there's not really much to talk. Let's take a look also what's on the back side here. So let's talk about controls. Over here we have a power button, microphone, headphone output, a nice piano looking controls. They seems to be working properly. This one not gonna work obviously. Yeah, this is good news. Then we have a pause button, standby. Never actually used this feature, but seems like interesting. It's just to, for example, turn this thing on timer and start recording. I guess that's what it is. Memory on off, never used it. Mechanical counter, very nice. It actually has logical kind of place over here. Looks like this is all a single contraption. It's going to be a tape mechanism. So if you go over here, so we have this nice cool looking analog VU meters. I like them. I don't even know what kind of light they're gonna have, like glow, like white, green, or blue. Actually, this is actually nice idea to mod. I actually add the backlight to these guys. Then there is a 0 VU, plus 4 VU, and plus 8 peaks. So this is nice. It's peak meters over here, peak indicators, I would say. So there is also control for bias, normal, low, and high. There is a control for equalization. So that's a normal for chrome and chrome dioxide equalization. Not 100% sure if I ever seen in my life ferrochrome tape. Unfortunately, it's like a rare type 3. Yeah, I don't have one. So then we go see filter, so there will be noise reduction off, which is type B, then it's on. Then, oh sorry, filter off, that's the MPX filter. So filter off, filter on, and noise reduction off altogether. Then we have input, you can use microphone, line, and rec mute. I guess when you're recording, you hit this button, it's gonna be blanked out. Microphones are here, left and right channel, stereo microphone, 2 separate connectors. Then we have line out and headphones. So this essentially means that your line out and headphones coupled together with the same amplifier. So changing volume over here, gonna change it over here and also on the back. Some decks have standard or fixed and variable outputs. I think this is the case. This guy gonna have fixed and variable output on the back, similar as my Sony cassette deck TC-K5. Alright, then we have record level, separate left and right channel, which is really nice. You can control your and balance out your record level. Fortunately, you won't be able to balance out your line out. Yeah, it's always gonna be the same. Alrighty, then we have obviously this microphone thing. And it has ferrite and ferrite head, whatever it means, honestly, I don't know. And I can show you how head looks like. But before that, we're gonna take a look on the back. So as we mentioned, here is our backside. It has line input and variable and fixed output. So this gonna be changing depending on that line out knob. This is gonna be always fixed. I think value of signal over here was listed in user manual. Then we don't have much less except this power cord, which I always hate to have these power cords when they are like really connected to the device. There is no plug-in. It's made in Japan. Obviously, serial number is 71229. Certified as a home entertainment device in Canada. Certificate number S7082. I'm not sure this thing was actually purchased in 82, but I don't know what that really means. That's all information I have, so maybe by this serial number we can judge when it was manufactured. And it also consumes, it is North American market device, and it consumes 11 watts. So this is how our heads look like. Doesn't tell me much actually. Really similar looking to TC-K5. I think they may even share the same mechanism. It's really looking like that. I'm not sure about motor. I don't think this has this fancy motor that other deck has. Alright. Not much really to see here. Alright, already plugged it in and looks like it did not explode. And let's power it up and give it a try. Ta-da! Let me see how it looks like. Right, looks like they are greenish. Okay, well, before, looks like it rotates. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, I have to definitely fix that. So we're gonna use today Hari Mutahari, whatever it is, test cassette. It's my genuine test cassette from Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia. Okay, and we clearly have a problem with Tape Mac. I think this cassette would withstand such a atrocity. I'm gonna just, roll it back, but clearly we have a problem. And yeah, in order to, but it was actually playing, as you notice. So clearly this little deck has issues, and I'm not gonna put any other cassettes because I don't want to end up to have anything like that, but it's indication that it has issues, and issues can be in the department of belts. Okay, I fixed this cassette, and now let's try to... Okay, it sort of starts slow and then goes. Then let's go different direction. It's kind of working, alright. Let's try to play again. Keep in mind, this cassette is kind of shitty cassette in terms of like, maybe it doesn't have good friction and that's why it doesn't spin properly, but it's a good test cassette in order to actually show the weaknesses of the cassette decks. As you notice, this is not spinning, this one is spinning. It clearly is a problem. So this means that capstan actually pulling, and this one is not, sorry, capstan is pulling the tape, but this reel is not picking up. So yeah, well, I have to take a look what's the... Oh my god, it's killing me. And obviously we have to pull back the tape to make sure it's not gonna snag again. Okay, well, looks like we have a new project over here, and this cassette deck needs some TLC. So let's try to fix it together. Alright my friends, and welcome to my workbench, and let's take a look what we have inside. So for this I would have to unscrew 3 bolts over here and 3 bolts over here to remove those panels, and I assume when I remove those panels the whole thing just lifts up. Let me do it quickly. Here we are. So those panels are off, and as I mentioned, this is not the real wood. This is a particle board with some veneer on top of it. Still looking pretty nice, and those panels are in really good shape, I must say. Is they not beat up, not scratched up. They actually look really nice. To prevent electric, there's even caution over here. Nice. So let's put them aside. We'll try to keep them in good shape. As soon as, look at those longer M4 bolts, so obviously they have to accommodate the width of the panel. We put them here. Okay. Okay, that was pretty simple operation, and we are inside. I think this is not vastly different from what I saw in another cassette, Sony cassette deck. Yeah, it looks really similar. Motor controller is very similar with the... No, I must say controller is different. I will be like, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna compare anymore this one to another one. So let's just talk about this cassette deck only. Right, so what we have main board, but unfortunately we are mooned, let's say, we being mooned because this is only backside of the board. What I like really nicely about Sony, that everything is labeled over here: buffer amplifier, left and right, Dolby, meter amplifier, and things like that. Everything is nice. All transistors you see, this is a transistor capacitor. Here is capacitor, resistor, jumpers, logical, all logical blocks here, very nicely depicted. So this is really cool. Here's the power supply. Looks like power supply is really dinky over here. This, maybe not that dinky, but here. All this area is a power supply, and this Q501 being probably one of the beefy transistors over here. There are many taps to that transformer. I'm not sure how many voltages. this thing has. Always surprised that instead of having separate board put this power supply board in some kind of enclosure and isolate everything from the main audio amplifiers. They actually make those power supply straight on a board close to like peak amplifier, bias oscillator, record equalization stuff, whatever. So we've been mooned, but we actually see many interesting things. So, but at least we see the cassette tape mechanism over here, and looks like it's very similar to what I saw before. Let me see. I don't think this belt is in really bad shape. It's relatively okay. Is it? No, actually, no, it's not. Okay, let's take a look at this belt. Oh, this belt is very stretched as well. Okay, this one is actually barely holding. But this belt I can replace because I do have, and that's easy actually to replace because I do have plenty of similar belts, and it's very hard. It's just, oh my god, it's like a plastic pretty much. But this belt I don't have any replacement of belt similar to this one, so I have to purchase something or get those generic Chinese belts where there is like they sell them for kilograms. So there is also a little counter belt, but I don't think I see it yet. Maybe it's somewhere inside, or there is a different sort of coupling, not belt but some kind of gear coupling. So motor over here is actually pretty cool looking motor with even some shielded stuff coming back out of it. I think it's out of it because this is supposed to be power, and whatever comes out of it is supposed to be feedback, I assume, because yes, it's clearly see this is shielded wire. Why would you have shielded wire coming into the motor, or unless they want to shield everything else from this, because there is some switching noises and things like that. But this motor looking cool. It says FG servo, so I don't know details on this one, but I will take a look. So it's very easy to get to that capstan flywheel. Here it's just 2 screws over here, and remove this plate and replace the belt. Unfortunately, I don't have appropriate belt of this kind. That's it. There is a solenoid over there. Power button is over here, which I'm not gonna turn on. Looks like an Ichicon capacitors, and oh my god, this has to be addressed. So this interesting mechanism is a part of a slow open and close of this door. This has to be addressed somehow, maybe lubricate a little bit over here, and those little plastic wheels, not them, but their axles. So by the way, we can remove the door. So for easy access and cleanup, this door can be removed. Easy access to the head and clean up pinch rollers and things like that. So this deck is very easy to disassemble. There is 1, 2, 3 screws on this side and 3 screws on the bottom side that hold this front panel can just come off. Not gonna do this yet because we don't have this flat belt. There's no point to disassemble whole thing. So that's pretty much it I can talk about on this side. Oh, by the way, these guys are the VU meters. Very nice looking VU meters. I'm not sure where is the lights. If lights are built in, unfortunately, I won't be able to easily switch them to something what I would like to have. For example, some neon or blue or red, or even RGB. Can you imagine having here RGB and be able to tweak them, those lights? That'll be amazing. Alright, so let's take a look on a back or front side, whatever. Let's take a look at the business end. So after unscrewing a whole bunch of, well, 6 to be precise, little screws over here, I'm able to access the more electronic componentry over here. Well, here we are. Okie dokie. So, not really much going on here. I'm kind of surprised. Give me a break. There is no ICs? Wait, what? Unless there is something over here. I don't see IC. Am I crazy? Oh wow, I'm genuinely surprised. I could not believe my eye, but looks like there is not a single IC. There is not even that much transistors over here. Wow. Wow. But that can mean some problems. Technically, transistors can, well, IC can go bad and transistor can go bad and get old and things like that. But it's a bit easier to actually replace IC than replace whole bunch of transistors and surrounding circuitry in order to actually fix a problem with an amplifier. But whatever, we have what we have. Whew. Breathe, Misha, because I'm kind of surprised. So essentially what we have here, we have cassette deck based completely on discrete componentry. Unless there is something on this board over here, it's really hard to tell. No, there is no really board. No, those wires just go straight to close to those switches, and I assume this is just to run some I don't know, either input switching over here or related to some equalization settings. That's it. It's very, very simple. It's simpler than I thought. Wow. Well, okay. Let's just talk about components here. We have, looks like everywhere we have a whole bunch of Nichicon capacitors, and look at those cool vents over here. So instead of like having just cross or anything, they made this like almost like umbrella corporation looking sign. Crazy. I've never seen this before. Well, I mean, never actually opened that much of old equipment, but this is cool and cool looking stuff. We have, this is highly likely because it's shielded, and the only shielded thing here, this is a bias oscillator. Not sure what frequency this thing's supposed to operate. There's a whole bunch of little inductors over here, a bunch of capacitors. It's all electrolytic capacitors. They are over here, they are Nichicon stuff, which is good news. I don't see any kind of obvious damage to the capacitors. Some capacitors have this red tape on them. Some have black. I'm not sure if someone already kind of double checked. Oh, I was wrong. There are a few other capacitors. I'm not sure what are those, but clearly not Nichicons. Those look like Alma capacitors, but maybe I'm mistaken. Those little yellow guys over here, and few orange, sorry, orange, not yellow. Few orange guys over here. Yeah, it's hard to tell. There is no... Nichicon as well. They are Nichicon capacitors as well. It's nice. There are two transformers. Again, curious, what are they? So I need to see the schematic. Essentially, this is vastly different from TC-K5. TC-K5 was a little bit more sophisticated in this regard. It had more electronics. I'm not sure why, because technically they are pretty much the same, functionally at least. But TC-K5 a wee bit more complicated. Those switches over here, this is record and play switches for both channels. Those are faulty points. Actually, before I even start testing and analyzing this thing, all those knobs over here, all those switches over here, they have to be cleaned up. So you're gonna use a generous amount of contact cleaner in order to make sure everything here is pretty clean. Otherwise you can just chase a rabbit in a rabbit hole forever because you don't have good contact. On the other hand, because this guy is relatively simple, that means that maybe it will be very easy to actually bring it back to life. So here we are. That's how those capacitors look like with their funky looking vent holes. They're everywhere, or here and there, I can see these Japanese markings, and looks like this guy was maybe in some different markets or for some different model. It can have a DIN connector. Yeah, so there is a path for DIN connector. Unfortunately, there is no hole for DIN connector. I think DIN connectors are pretty cool. Here we are, there is more Japanese markings over here. Those are, I don't know if they are test points or just points to connect the wires, but yeah, look, whatever, I don't know if those are numbers or they supposed to mean anything, like you know, left and right channel, but some signs are hieroglyphs are repeating, some are not. And here are more. Curious, what is this transistor doing here? What is it? TXC1173, I guess. Let me see. I assume this is main voltage regulating transistor as a part of a power supply, and it's the only one beefy transistor over here. Well, apart the other guy, but the other guy doesn't have radiator, so I assume it's not that beefy. So this guy seems to be installed on a crooked radiator, which is actually made of chunk of steel, not even aluminium or any. Yeah. And I don't think it is a voltage regulator, it says transistor, so it's just simple bipolar transistor, I assume. But I'm gonna take in schematic because schematic is available for this guy. Look at those wire looms. They, instead of using threads, they actually use some sort of tubing. Yeah, it looks like a translucent tubing. Wow. Well, I guess next step in this for this troubleshooting of this Sony TC-K5 is to actually get belts, install them. So accessing the tape mechanism is very easy actually. So if I remove this panel, unscrewing this guy and this guy, also two guys in front and on top of it, that's it. All this contraption can be pulled away out through the top. It's very easy, it's very nicely serviceable DAC. So I think Sony DACs are nicely serviceable. I actually haven't played with very modern Sony DACs, so I don't know how good are they, but this guy is very serviceable. There is plenty of space, there is not any crazy kind of tape mechanism, everything is accessible, really easy to work on.